Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, there's just 269 days until Christmas 2022. Oh, and we interrupt your regularly scheduled live stream today because there's breaking news. And I've got my friend Jason Ward here. Jason, thank you for joining last second, but it's pretty exciting stuff. So let's, without further ado, let me see if I can bring it up. The short of it, and I'm sure they've already been talking about it in the chat. Kenobi is coming out on May 27th. They pushed it back from the original planned start date. So instead of a Wednesday release, we're getting a Friday release. And that Friday release, we're getting 2 episodes. Bonus. So I've got a question right off the bat. Does that mean that maybe we'll get Kenobi episodes on Fridays instead of the Wednesday release schedule?
I don't think so. I think it's Celebration. I think they want to. Isn't Celebration that week?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they just want to drop 2 at Celebration and make it an event, and then it'll come on Disney Plus right after. That's what I think is going on there. Because I know that. I mean, it's very obvious. It's not breaking news that Ewan McGregor is going to be there. And so I think they're gonna. That's where they're going with this, and just probably a late game actual addition that they're actually going to do it. Is my take, So,
well, I don't like for me personally, I don't care for the Wednesday release. Now I know that it's worked well for them, and we've got some other things to talk about, but about how well that's worked. But yeah. I was when they said this is going to Friday, I said, oh, does it mean maybe? Does it mean possibly? And I'm sure everybody's seen this, but I'll go ahead and play it here just so everybody can see. Can you all hear it?
Probably I cannot.
Not. Yeah. I didn't share the audio, but that's probably good for me so that they don't jump and grab us.
Me and we're in the same shirt today. We're like best friends now. We coordinated today. Hey. By the way, people don't know that. Yeah. People don't know that about us. Look, we're the same.
He called you this morning and said,
I'm dropping stuff.
I think I'm going to wear my black
I said, okay,
T-shirt today.
Me too, Ewan, because we're best friends. But I put this on. And then he believes. I'm like, it's me. And he's like, oh, I know you.
Oh, it's so good. That's so good. I thought that's super, super exciting. I changed the title of the live stream today. We added some stuff to the thumbnail because this is big news. And to get 2 episodes that day, I know we normally we also do a prediction sheet every week where we guess what's going to happen, but we've got 2 episodes to account for. I don't know. Do we do two prediction sheets or do we do
2? 2 more content, Santa. More content.
I love it.
That's what I say.
It. So Meg is.
I want more, and I know I shouldn't.
There you go.
But I do. That's for Meg. I think Meg likes it when people say that.
I think she's going to be joining us here in a second. So that'll be good. We'll get Meg's take on it as well. And yeah. I see Trucker Mark in the chat. Trucker Mark and we talked on the phone a week ago or so. He sent me a photo. The dude looks like me. He's got the white beard. He looks great. So here's Meg. Hey, Force Ghost Meg. You died again, didn't you?
I died again. I stage dead.
You died of a broken heart?
The news.
I died of a broken heart, apparently.
I thought it was the shock and excitement over Kenobi dropping 2 episodes on a Friday.
I love it. I love it because I know we're going to come to episode 1 and be like, can't wait for next week. But then we don't have to.
No, we get them both. And then I'll ask you the same question I asked Jason. You think there's any chance we start getting Friday releases instead of Wednesdays?
No, I think it's going to be Wednesday scheduling and it's just for Celebration that they're doing this. But I could be wrong.
That was my guess as well. I think the actual question I have now is, does that mean the following Wednesday we don't get an episode? Is more of the question that I have now. You know, do we
I
get
don't see why
two?
they'd skip a week.
I hope not. Yeah,
No.
I hope not. But
I think what it does is it makes it it makes it so that it ends a week earlier, right? So what I got to go look at the schedule here. So May 26th,
June the 22nd, I
27th.
think.
Yeah. So yeah, if we go the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? Yeah, I don't know though. No, I'm looking. There's what? How many episodes of Kenobi?
6.
6. That's what I thought.
6.
So
Yeah.
May
Well,
27th.
I think Baymax said that they've changed it to 5 episodes on the scheduling. So maybe episode 1 and 2 is 1 episode.
That'd be the double episode, right? So then
Yeah, probably.
the third would
They also
be
they also
episode
confirmed
3.
that Hannah Friedman is from Willow is a co-writer of much of the revisions, I guess, which is cool. She's a good writer.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she's got extra time on her hands since Willow's not doing nothing.
What? Willow's
Oh!
he's living it up. What? This is slander.
Santa triggered Jason.
You
I did that on purpose. Yeah.
I was having fun with
guy.
Jason and Max and Rob over on the Making Star Wars show the other night.
Yes. So yeah, so that makes it Kenobi end on the 24th of June, right? That's exactly when that would happen. Yeah, Polyhedral Paradise. What happened to Willow? No, I'm just triggering Jason. That's all. I'm just
yeah.
Jason's been reporting on Willow news since early.
I'm the
So
only
I
one
have
who
a
cares
question.
about Willow. Yeah.
We were talking about how so Kenobi ends on June the 22nd, which then means, according to Best Film Bulletin, there is a chance for Bad Batch Season 2 and Andor to run at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well,
And it would still leave plenty of room for Mando at the end of the year.
so
Possibly.
if they end on June 22nd, and Dawn was saying over in the den, they looked at it and they're scheduled to go. If they end on June 22nd, as Meg said, they end on 22nd, then Andor doesn't start till what, August? What, 12th something? Do you guys
No
remember?
clue. I don't think anyone knows
No.
at this point.
I don't know
August
what day it
something.
is. What day is it?
Yeah. Oh, I like this. Baymax. You need a Willow Ward channel.
Right?
I'd
I know.
That's
subscribe.
very good.
I should do it.
That's very good. Yeah. Well, we've got then a few weeks. If Andor doesn't start until mid-August, that gives you the entire month of July. June 29th would be the first week after that, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 weeks, 6 weeks until August, and then it could go later in August, 7, 8, 9 weeks between. I don't know the Marvel schedule offhand. You guys got any clue what's coming in that time frame from Marvel?
I watched
No
Moon Knight.
clue.
That's all I know. I saw 1 episode last night. I had a good time. That was fun.
I did too. I did.
Did you see what Matt just put in the chat?
I did. $5 super chat from Matt. Fans will be treated the first 2 installments at launch, with subsequent episodes debuting each Wednesday. So that's from StarWars.com. So confirmed on StarWars.com as well. So appreciate that, Matt.
So
Thank you so
in
much.
like less than a week, we get like half the series, right?
All 3 episodes. Yeah, we get 3 episodes in 5 days.
That's rad. I like that.
It's fantastic.
It's a quickie.
It is,
It comes as quickly as it goes.
but memorable.
It'll be over as soon as we get it going. Yeah. So I think that's super exciting, and I know that those going to Celebration will probably get a bit of a heads up before we do.
Sorry,
Right.
I'm just reading X-Wing and I'm like, X-Wing.
Yeah, I saw X-Wing's comment as well. That's why I was focused.
I try not to look. I'm like, don't look. Don't look.
Don't look,
I try
Janet.
to tell myself that too in my email because Martin Keeler will send me email from time to time and be like, hey, here's exclusive something from Hasbro or exclusive from, don't share this with anybody. It's top secret. And
Yeah.
I open it every single time. It's Darth Cheeks staring me in the face.
I think you should explain to people what Darth Cheeks is.
I should. I probably should. So, Green Bear. He did it again. He wants me to keep saying the name of his channel. He's rebranded his channel. No longer Green Bear. I always abbreviate his name, Green Bear. And so he's taken a lesson from Jason and manipulating my free market capitalistic ways.
Yeah,
and
it works.
Puts $5 in there to make me say the best Scar Boner. Green Bear Strikes Back.
Beskar Boner is the best YouTube channel name of all time. Confirmed.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
I
so
think
should
there's
give you
there's an English equivalent to Beskar Boner. It's called the Dangling Ding Dong.
The Dingling Ding Dong. Beskar Bollocks.
So
Okay.
Beskar
let me see.
Bollocks.
So they're just again. So the people who haven't been haven't been privy to the Darth Cheeks. I don't know. Are you guys ready for it? Should I share it?
I'm ready for it.
All right.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
You guys, you haven't seen it.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Well, look, you guys have given us super chats, so the demonetization's coming. You know it's coming. Just wash it off the table. It's gone. Okay. So with that being said, Darth Cheeks, everybody look away, hide your eyes, do what you need. I'll let you know when it's clear. There it is. So
Darth Cheeks.
Martin Keeler, Darth Elvis, and the dude under the hood here is Baymax. So they're up to no good. And this is the picture. This is the picture that every time Martin sends me, telling me it's something else. And I don't know if that's where you're supposed to open your bottles. I'm just guessing.
That's what it's for.
That is one very skilled anus, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, it's clear. It's clear. You can look. It's it's no longer on the screen.
Darth Cheeks. Best Darth Cheeks.
Yes, Nikki came up with the Darth Cheeks name for that photo. So every time they say Darth Cheeks, now you guys you've all been exposed to
before
the picture.
Before you explained what Darth Cheeks was, I always imagined whenever you said Darth Cheeks that it was some sort of evil hamster.
Yeah,
right, because of the cheeks. I get it. So oh my goodness. All right. Silliness aside, there was another bit of information I saw come out today, and let me put this on the screen as well. The Disney Plus Book of Boba Fett has been in the #1 spot for nearly 3 months. So since it came out, Book of Boba Fett was first place in streaming content. And it was just overtaken by HBO's series. This one that's on the left there. What is that? Hold on, I'll get it.
It's like the Pirates show.
Our Flag Means Death. That's the name of that one. Our Flag Means Death. And so since Book of Boba Fett debuted, it's been in first place in streaming service since this, which I think is pretty remarkable, at least. In my opinion, and it shows that this Wednesday release schedule has been working really, really well. Think what you might of the Book of Boba Fett and what it is and what it's not, what it could have been, and what it isn't. #1 for 3 months is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it does sound like the way that Boba was made was knowing that it, projecting out into the future, how little content or disparate content was going to be with the situation that the world was in at that time. And so on one hand, to give Rodriguez credit, where I oftentimes don't, is that he got that shoot underway and got it finished, and they had a product to deliver at that moment in time when there really no one else did. So on one hand, it's kind of got to give some credit to that, I think, whether you love the show or you don't. I mean, that onto itself was sort of a feat, I think. And I think
Jason's absolutely right.
Yeah.
100%.
Somebody said it.
Lucasfilm is celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
This is a complete win for them.
Yeah. I think it also shows a little bit of the difference between those of us who spend an absurd amount of our time every day thinking, talking, and discussing Star Wars versus
who would do
the rest
that?
of the world.
Who would do that? I don't know about that. No, I'm kidding.
I think that, compared to the rest of the world, they watch it from a different lens, right? Yeah. And I think, again, a bit of a success story to say that they got that many eyeballs on it, not only because it's, and I'm sure a big part of that is because it's got the Star Wars logo on it, right? It's Star Wars. People are going to watch it because it says Star Wars. But to stay in number one that long, if it was a bomb, right? If it was not any good from an entertainment, just a pure entertainment, whether you think that it fills out Star Wars lore or that it helps develop the story, any of that, right? Then it's still getting eyeballs on it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll have to see how it shakes out, though. Like in the big picture, it's a win now? Does it end up being a loss later if people were like, you know what, I didn't really follow it, I didn't get it, or whatever, and then they skip? Like if we see, like, we won't. But if we saw Mando 3's numbers go down, for instance, because people are like, I don't know about that kind of stuff. Like it could have it could hurt the brand in different ways. But I also think with this break we're going to get in between Mando with Obi-Wan and other stuff coming in between then and now, I think it's fine. I think it's smart.
I agree with that. I think the Book of Boba Fett might be a Last Jedi situation where initially there's hype and the numbers are good, and then eventually it ends up hurting the franchise in the long run.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I'm not comparing the two, by the way. I'm not saying Book of Boba is Last Jedi.
Right.
Well, yeah, and again, I think, Jason, you made a really, really good point, and Matt here's saying as well that when there's nothing else to compete against, that you don't have any other big name out there drawing attention away from, then it's gonna hold, even if it is subpar.
It's Jack in the Box and Del Taco in the middle of the night. You've been out drinking, you're with your buddies, nothing's open, and you're like, this is pretty good. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's the Del Taco. I call it the Del Taco theory. I just coined it right now. Jack in the Box theory. It's garbage, but it's when there's something else to eat, you're like, I'll take it.
Well, they made a movie about it, a White Castle. That's a Midwest thing here in Ohio.
Kumar?
Yeah. White Castle is a big deal. So White Castle, that's how they survive, because they're the only ones open. Right.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
I feel like this conversation is edging dangerously close to just saying the Book of Boba Fett was crap.
I don't think so. That's sort of what I've been trying to defend. I think that from an entertainment perspective, it was still able to hold attention. Otherwise, the average audience would have fallen off from it in 3 months. We're not talking 3 weeks or anything like that. For 3 months, it held number one since it debuted. Nearly 3 months, over 2.5 months. So, look, I think that to say that it's garbage is an exaggeration. And my point was, beyond those of us who spend so much of our time thinking, talking, discussing Star Wars, from just a general audience, from a normies or a entertainment perspective, it's a success, and I
Well,
I don't think that it's.
is it my perspective because of the Kenobi stuff that I've been doing and what we've all been talking about with Kenobi coming and stuff like that? I feel like Boba came out and then the fandom just moved on though. Like I don't see people like making like jokes and memes and carrying on about Boba. I'm not denying that that general audiences continued to consume it over time. That clearly has happened. But I mean, but doesn't it feel like we all kind of moved on pretty quick from it? Am I wrong there?
I've got to agree with Jason. It feels kind of like after Book of Boba ended, it was instantly just dead in terms of fandom conversation and interest amongst diehard fans. If you look at The Mandalorian Season 2, we were talking about Luke's appearance all the way up until the Bad Batch dropped in May.
Yeah.
So you don't hear anyone talking about Book of Boba anymore. And I don't think it has much like rewatchability. I've only seen Chapter 2 twice because I thought that was the best one.
Well, I watched all of them like 3 times when they came out, right? So
I mean like revisited later.
right. Because I know all of us like I did the live reaction and then I watched it again just to catch the things that I missed. And then that evening I would watch it again with my wife. So I watched every episode at least 3 times. Just for that reason. So, but I don't know. I think that we're not giving Boba Fett enough credit in the general audience from an entertainment perspective of having met audience's needs. Otherwise, they wouldn't have watched it. I think 3 months. Look, the show wasn't that long. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And like you say, like this is continued beyond when it ended, and it still held on to first. So people coming along afterwards who may have started their subscription after the series ended and binged it all, or people who were catching it over time, maybe not on schedule as it released, they've still maintained with it. Otherwise, I think it would have fallen off and it wouldn't have made it. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head what other things came out to get eyeballs away from it, but and nothing's coming to mind, which is probably a fair assessment that Jason, you and Matt and Meg, you've all made, that being number one doesn't mean that you were getting tons of eyeballs. It means that there was nothing else to watch. But I don't know. Would people keep watching if they didn't like it?
I mean, I get your perspective, and it's similar to the sequels in the sense of general audiences, non-diehard fans absolutely love it. It's got great entertainment factor. Tons of people are tuning into it. But Star Wars lately has lacked magic in every capacity. And the Book of Boba Fett for me was the epitome of what's wrong with Disney Star Wars, including, to an extent, parts of The Mandalorian. And it just falls short so much on that magic that George Lucas brought to it. And, like, the world feels small, the production isn't the same. And I kind of feel the same way about episode 7 and 9. But in different ways.
Yeah, it's X-Wing. So Gannon, thank you for the $5 super chat. Do want to recognize that. And are you telling me Mos Espa Vespas are now staple in pop culture? We need merch. I know Mark, our good friend Mark Hamilton, he wants all the Vespas. He needs them in every scale. He needs every color. He wants multiples. He wants some to keep. He wants some to unbox. He wants the real life one. He can drive around.
Well, he showed me. He showed me he showed me the sketches for his Vespa back tattoo. Looks cool. It doesn't. It looks dumb. Don't tell him.
X-Wing, he loves you, Meg. We all love Meg, but loving that version. Look, I Disney Star Wars, the Disney Lucasfilm, has for me given me some of the best Star Wars content that I've ever had. Outside of the original trilogy, and it may not be fair to kind of compare it, because what else did we get other than the movies before Disney purchased it?
Well,
Sure,
yeah, there's sorry.
no,
Sorry, I didn't mean to-
there's lots of books and comics and games. Don't get me wrong. There's lots of content, but as far as like from what the mass audience is going to get, drawing in new fans, being able to get new eyeballs, movies are the things that do that. And between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, there's like 20 years in there, right? So, and then between the prequels and the sequels, another huge gap of time. And now we're getting regular content that at least from a consumption standpoint, and I know there's the consume versus quality, but argument out there. We're getting new eyeballs on it. They're selling merch like crazy. Grogu stuff and Mando stuff is flying off shelves. So I think all of it says that we're getting new folks attracted to it in a very, very positive way. And for me, I disagree that it doesn't have magic in it. It feels exciting to me. And if you've seen me, like when I was watching the Bad Batch, many of those episodes, I was just smiling, giggling like through the whole thing. I loved them. So I don't know.
Well, for me, I see it as sort of part of the sort of a creative issue in the fact that it has to continue on. Like I would compare it to like somebody saying, Santa, I think I'm falling in love with you. And Santa, I love you. It's like because they don't want to commit to anything too far because they don't want to close out any opportunities. So like before Disney, everything was the last time. The last time you're going to see this. The last time the original trilogy. This is the last time Anakin and Darth Vader, or Anakin and Obi-Wan will see each other. Like everything was final. And then when we get to the Disney era, they either kill people they shouldn't. And you're like, why'd you do that, Disney, you dummy? Or they just like with Rey, they don't really want to commit to anything because they don't want to close any doors because they want to keep so many doors in that hallway open for future storytelling / money making endeavors. And so nothing really feels like it matters very much, kind of. And I think that's where the magic gets lost, is you don't feel like you're seeing that really special moment that much. It's like, oh, they'll be back. Oh, they'll be back. Everything's like, it's like Rocky. It's like the difference between Rocky 1 and then Rocky 2 through 100.
I do get that perspective, and it's kind of like Santa's saying the amount of quantity of Star Wars we're getting is great, and he doesn't see the lack of magic that some fans see.
Yeah.
And I do get your perspective too. I suppose, in my opinion, it's not so much that they're steering away from George Lucas's Star Wars. It's more that they're trying to copy it, but doing a horrendous job at transferring over the elements that actually make Star Wars what it is. It's not because of the characters or what the aliens look like. It's not about giving us the same worlds and the same music. It was the storytelling. And George cared about that more than anything. And we can talk all day about the problems of the sequel trilogy with the planning and the pacing and J.J. Abrams pretending like the prequels never existed. But there's so much more to it that in almost every other thing that's been Disney Star Wars is lacking. Mm-hmm. And that is the storytelling staying true to Star Wars. The only exceptions for me were Rogue One and Star Wars Rebels and maybe The Bad Batch. But that's just my view.
Oh yeah, no, that's completely. I mean, I think what everybody's saying is completely valid for them in this conversation about why stuff is working or isn't working. You know,
that's a really good point.
Yeah,
I want to. Nikki gave a $5 super chat here as well, and just to highlight it. It says it feels like a cash grab. They rely on Star Wars name too much and pumping out content. She wants the content to be good. What Meg was saying. So, sorry, I interrupted you, Jason.
No. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, it's like there's like different reasons why things work. Like, you know, I love the prequels. Like, you know what I mean? I was like right in that in between era. Like, I wasn't old enough, but I wasn't young. I'm like right in between where I could have hated it, I could have loved it, you know, and I ended up loving it. So, which means I was in contention with most of my friends. So all we did for like a decade was have conversations about why does this work for you, and it doesn't work for me. And I'm like, I don't know. I had fun. I thought it was, I thought it was magical. And and it's like it's something this big. It's so different for everybody about why it connects and why it doesn't. And it's funny, like me and Meg agree like on the prequels, but me and Meg we disagree on the animation side. We're like completely flipped. Like the Clone Wars stuff to me feels like Star Wars through and through, and like it puts Meg to like sleep. And it's just, so it's like when we were talking yesterday, Meg, I was just like, yeah, this goes to show you really can't please everybody all the time. Anyway, so it's like they almost have to go with a wide array of how do we please the most people at once, and but they need to do it without creating a backlash that creates a discourse that in the end becomes the common sense of on the issue, on how people view the prequels. Like, I think they could have got out ahead of the prequels in terms of the media, but I think they were so arrogant in their PR at the time. They burned so many bridges and they made so many journalists mad. No one was afraid to actually like go against it really hard. And because it was limited, they'll be like, well, once they do episode 3, they're out of the Star Wars business and we're out of the Star Wars business. And so from like that kind of perspective, they lost the media really early, and they're kind of doing that now. They are kind of making most of the journalists I know really angry with the sort of PR arrogance kind of stuff. Not answering emails.
How so?
Kind of not answering emails, inviting people to like screenings and then just not for like no reason, and one outlet and not another. It makes jealousy. And then they also do that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's on purpose, if it's just laziness or whatever. It's definitely a very hard read. But yeah, I know people who write for some like big trades that I'm pretty sure went with some bogus stories recently based off of the fact that they were pretty much getting the runaround, not getting screeners. It's just stupid stuff. It ends up becoming like stupid political stuff. When I say political, I don't mean like American politics. I mean like industry politics. But it's like they really have a perspective that with like Star Wars is the hot trophy wife of the entertainment industry. Look at me, everybody, I'm the coolest. And in reality, that ship sailed a little while ago, and they don't really realize that. That's kind of the perspective that I seem to pick up when I talk to a couple of friends here and there about the stuff.
And Jason, you're a lot closer to all this stuff than we are, so it's always interesting to hear your perspective. But you were saying about animation and live action and everything. I think it might be more helpful for a discourse, for a debate or conversation about it, to focus maybe on live action.
Yeah.
And I think everything that I was talking about can be summed up if you watch the Rise of Skywalker behind the scenes. To me, that was extremely depressing, more than the film itself. Just in the sense of like the decisions that JJ and the other guy, the guy he keeps high-fiving every 2 minutes, they were making the decisions based on, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we just threw this in because this is in, one scene in The Empire Strikes Back or whatever. And that's the heart of the argument I was making of Disney missing the point of what makes Star Wars special. Because you can talk about decent characters in the Disney era or good storytelling in the Clone Wars season 7 or whatever. But what's lacking is that depth.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I would agree that, like, looking back on a lot of the like sequel trilogy kind of stuff, you don't really feel like it penetrates very deeply like into like the allure of Star Wars. It feels like we could easily move on.
Pretty much.
Like Rogue One, it contributes to like plot elements, but yeah,
I'm trying to measure my words. And not just have knee-jerk reaction and truly listen. I think that your perspective is largely based on your own interpretation of the content. Mm-hmm. For those of us who really enjoyed the sequel trilogy and have loved the content that we've gotten lately, I want more in a tremendous way. And we know, like, what is it? Papa Memes bought that sign for on Times Square that he wanted to see Rey in a show. I'm dying to see post Rise of Skywalker stuff. I'm dying to see more content with those characters. I want to see that explored more. I'm excited about this new book with Ochi and all that. For me, it landed very well, and not only that, but like my wife, my kids, my family, they all loved it as well. And I've got a good friend of mine who it didn't go well for him, but even he's not as negative on it to say that this era of Star Wars has been flat. I think that it's just folks who that don't have a good relationship. I always say I don't have a good relationship with the prequels, right?
Mm-hmm.
I watch them. The content means some to me for as far as like what it is. But for me, the prequels still damage Star Wars more than they help Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
For my overall enjoyment of the franchise. Every time I watch them, it brings down my enjoyment rather than elevate. And I think that if you were listening to a panel of people who share my relationship, like JJ or whoever else, with the prequels, that you would hear a similar kind of thing. Like, well, this era of Star Wars is damaging. It's not good. It's breaking the lore. It's not respecting the original stories. It's doing all this, right? So to hear you guys express those kind of feelings and thoughts towards this era of Star Wars feels like me and my thoughts towards the prequel era. And so I don't hold it against you, right? I'm not trying to pick a fight or say that you're wrong in any way. It's that your perspectives are very much influenced by your own relationship to them. And I know that we have younger generations of folks, Meg's generation, who love the sequels, who are going to grow up with them. I know there are people who are younger than Meg who love them, are going to grow up with them, and they'll continue to. And as Lucasfilm keeps giving us more content with those characters to help us get more invested in their stories, it will go further to help people care about the characters. Like, I couldn't care less about Count Dooku or before I read some of the additional material and I watched the Clone Wars and Rebels. Like, I could care less about him before that. Now I go back and I watch it, and Count Dooku has a great, like, I care more about the character. Right?
Yeah.
That's my point.
I think it's like, objectively speaking, the prequels did have a plan. And even if you enjoyed the sequels, you've got to admit they were very clunky in terms of storyline, in terms of contradicting each other. Kylo Ren saying he wants to be like his grandfather, and then in the next film he's like, let the past die. I can't help but be distracted by this tug of war between Ryan and JJ. And for me, that's more distracting than CGI. I don't see it as a tug of war.
The storyline for me is it continues just fine. Like, I don't see that same dichotomy. To me, the story continues well from Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, and from Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker. I think Rise of Skywalker it's my least favorite of the three because I didn't think that it carried some of the themes forward that I wanted. But
that's what broke it for me. For me, like when I look back to episode 1, I'm like, episode 1, I'll watch that pod race and that end duel anytime. I don't even care about the rest of the movie. If I do, but I don't even need to. I would just watch those. Attack of the Clones, it has its stuff. And then, but Revenge of the Sith, he becomes like Darth Vader. Like, I'm like, this is an important Star Wars historical moment. He becomes Darth Vader in that one. So like that one right there is like, that's one I go back to all the time. That's actually my favorite one. Then you get to the original trilogy, A New Hope, obviously just the classic, Empire, you know what I mean? And Return of the Jedi, like there's all of these like big moments that happen in them. And then when we get to the sequel trilogy, it becomes really about character, which is smart and actually like a really good way to take it, considering where we were at with the franchise at that point. So I actually enjoyed 7 and 8 quite a bit, and I was really invested in the character. But then 9 breaks it. 9 literally for me, it undoes everywhere that we were going with it, and then I'm like, okay, so now this all amounted to she's just Palpatine's granddaughter, and she doesn't really even care that much. She kind of gets over it pretty quick. And so it's and it's like what were so outside of the character moments, what were the features? And like the features for me, they're just not there. So that's why I feel like they're very easy to move past right now. Maybe my opinion will change over time. Maybe I don't have any nostalgia for them, and that will build. You know what I mean? And then I will see things differently. But at the moment, like I'm like, oh, I don't really have the pod race or the duel or the, you know what I mean? And it's like, and maybe it hasn't had enough time to become like memeable in a way where I'm like, sand, he said it. You know, maybe that stuff hasn't happened for me. I don't know, but but that's kind of where I'm at with it too.
I'm not ignoring them, Nikki. I'm not ignoring them. And by the way, just so everybody knows, and I was going to announce this at the very front. Meg won't be able to join me tomorrow. Meg, thank you so much for being here today. It's so good to get to talk to you. And,
thank you for having me.
And to get to have this discussion with you today. I'm very thankful. So tomorrow, Meg won't be able to join. And I need to announce these things ahead of time because tomorrow's April 1st as well. And people be like, no, it's true.
No,
Meg has other things to do. But I've reached out to the folks over at Echo Base Network, EBN, and Coach and Nick have agreed to come in tomorrow and continue this discussion where I am sure that I will again be the minority on my own show.
That's good though. That's good.
Hold
your ground, Stan. Hold your opinions. They're yours.
No, what makes it good is, and I've mentioned this before, and anybody who's new is that this is what friends do, right? We disagree. Meg and Jason are my dear friends, and Coach and Nick, they are fantastic people. And so what you'll get to see is Star Wars fans who have vehement disagreements, but we're not.
Oh, Dominic.
Insulting each other. Dominic's having fun.
That's Darth Cheeks, no. Dominic. That's Darth Cheeks.
No, they're great guys. They're great guys, and they've offered to come on and talk. So we will be talking to them tomorrow, and you guys can hear Coach and Nick as we have this discussion as well, because I want to have this same discussion with them as far as the Book of Boba Fett. I think this story kind of this is what kind of spurred the discussion, right? It was number one for nearly 3 months, and we know that not everybody feels like the Book of Boba Fett was the story that they wanted, or that it fell short of what they wanted, and so it kind of leads us into a broader discussion. Is it still meeting with general audiences? Is it still high enough entertainment quality for new fans to be brought into the franchise? And one thing I wanted to kind of get back to is that I see French Yash. It's a long comment. If you want to reach out to me separately, that'd be a good thing to talk about. I'd be happy to talk to you, but you can find me on Discord or shoot me an email. We can talk about that more. But what I was saying is storytelling for modern audiences needs to evolve with the modern audiences. And the storytelling that was acceptable to folks in a generation ahead of me is different than the storytelling that I enjoyed, or that maybe my kids enjoyed. And I've said this before. Kayla, who is a college age student, right? She's a senior in college, Bowling Green State University in Ohio here. She doesn't understand why I like the original trilogy so much, right? For her, it's the least of the 3 trilogies. for her, she likes the sequels, the prequels, and then the original trilogy. I think in that order. Every now and then she flips it: prequels, sequels, original. But it's always the original last. It's just like, Dad, those stories aren't like those movies. They're kind of dumb. And I'm like, oh, go to your room. No, look, she's 21. I can't do that. But it's just that storytelling for modern audiences, and what I think this Boba Fett story tells us is that Lucasfilm is largely drawing in the modern audience. They're meeting with the people who are new to the franchise in a way that's engaging. And whether you feel like the sequels don't have the magic that Star Wars did under Lucas, still drawing in new fans to the franchise who are becoming more and more passionate about the franchise. So I don't know.
Just now, when you were talking about your daughter and the original trilogy, I just had this. I haven't remembered this in years, or recalled this in years, but as like a 5 or 6 year old, when Luke Skywalker is on Endor and he ignites the green lightsaber and the speeder bike comes at him and it shoots the lasers at him and he deflects it. That was like one of the coolest things ever when I was a kid. And it was like a lightsaber deflecting laser blast and all that kind of stuff. You never saw that anywhere. And it was like almost a feature of that part of the movie for me. Today, we see little kids deflecting lightsabers while they're jumping off of things. It's not a feature. You don't even consider it. But when I still watch that moment in the movie, it's still really cool for me.
Right.
Because it's been cool for me since I was like 3 or 4 years old. And so it's like there's just certain things that you just can't that will always be cool because they were cool.
Right. And that's what when I was in the theater 10 years old and saw the Star Destroyer chasing the Tantive 4 across the screen in the opening of Star Wars, to me that moment just blew my mind. Like there was nothing comparable. There was nothing that will ever have that same sort of impact on me that it did as a 10-year-old boy.
And I've always taken that for granted. That scene never meant anything to me. It's the most boring part of the movie for me.
And as a kid, when Attack of the Clones came out and I went to Dex's Diner, my mind was blown.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, it's just it's a really good point that when people watch that, and like you just said, Jason, they see that opening scene with the Star Destroyer, it doesn't have the same sort of like, I couldn't even comprehend the size and scale of that thing, right? Like,
yeah,
it blew my.
That's what she said.
It was just
not to me. Can we move on? No, okay.
I know. There's so many things now that are going through my mind, Meg. We were talking about when I unboxed the Razor Crest and put it together. My wife said that'll never fit. Right? It's too big.
I just saw X-Wing's comment.
Yeah. X-Wing, you're the best. Dominic is hilarious. I thank you both for sharing your perspectives, because I get the moniker of being a shill for Disney because I really do connect to this content. I love it.
Dominic,
calm down, Meg.
Well, can I shill for 1 second and say that I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is actually like a really important moment in all of this stuff, because it's the first time that they're actually deeply touching established lore and expanding upon it. That's not like in the sequel trilogy context of like a post Return of the Jedi kind of thing. And for me, it's really important because this either really elevates everything or I think it takes it down a lot. So I think Kenobi is a really, really important moment in all of this stuff for what my expectations can be. Because if Kenobi goes wah, wah, and the execution is just lackluster, everything I'm hearing about is fantastic. I could not be more excited. But with that said, if the execution is lackluster, if it is very dull, if it has a bad pacing and it's just not well made, it's gonna severely damage my ability to get excited about Star Wars in a really big way. But on the flip side of it, if it's perfect, then I'm going to be very, very happy and a maniac, as I've always been.
And hard.
And hard.
Well,
I agree with Jason. I think Kenobi has to deliver.
I absolutely agree. And I see French Yash from France. Look, I work for a company out of Montreal, Canada, that's French Canadian, and we were purchased by a company out of Paris. So fantastic. And Meg, your family is also, your mom was from France. Is that true?
She is.
Am I remembering right?
Is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, did you guys hear about Quantic Dream? They got
Quantic
bought.
Dream.
Oh yes, I saw that.
We did.
Yeah.
Meg mentioned it this morning. I want to, before we get off of Kenobi though, because I agree with you. I think for a lot of folks that have been critical of the Disney Lucasfilm era, that Kenobi is critical to take such a character that's pivotal in the series, in the franchise, and they absolutely need to make sure that it's executed at the highest standard. Now, there was a question that came out from TRB, and I wanted to bring it up just because it's a fun question. That's all. And I see some folks talking about this kind of thing. So, Star Wars Newsnet, will Obi-Wan suffer some memory loss? And there's a reason they're asking that question, right? They're asking the question because they're worried about it tying into the original trilogy, right? So,
my name is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Where am I? Can you help me get home?
So Jason, let me guess. What do you think? Will Kenobi have any memory loss?
He loses his whole memory. He doesn't even know who he is. You know in the trailer when he's on that thing going to work, I was wrong. He's actually on the bus and he's confused. He doesn't know where he is.
I had a dream once that I was on a bus and I didn't know where I was, and then an old man bitch slapped me, and then I fell out the window.
Was this a good dream or a bad dream? I'm just curious because you could really have a lot of different perspectives.
It was a bad dream, but I woke up really thirsty.
Mike Porter. I was slapped on stage and he tips how to get the blister off my face. Was that old person by any chance Will Smith?
No, it was before the incident, but
I'm looking forward to the next article where they're like, Darth Vader said, "When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I'm the master." Did maybe he catch memory loss from Obi-Wan?
Catch it?
Did he catch it? Is it part of the Blue Shadow virus that they were both introduced to in season 1 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars? Have you considered that, America?
My short answer is no. I don't think he's going to suffer any memory loss. And I watched their show where they talked about it, Star Wars Newsnet, the TRB. And their consensus as well. They don't think he's going to suffer any memory loss. But the question keeps coming up, Yeah. So, Meg, memory loss or no?
I forgot the question.
Will Obi-Wan suffer any memory
loss?
No,
I know. Did you see what I did there? Anyway.
I saw it. I got it. It's pretty good, Meg. It's pretty good. You are the ghost.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the direction.
I don't think so either. All right. So, yes, you brought up about the game Eclipse that they've been bought out, or that there's a push to buy them out, and I don't think that the sale is finalized. I don't know that that transaction is complete, but it's something that hit the news today. Meg, you covered it on your stream this morning, or your update today. You want to give us the short on that?
Yeah, basically, is it NetEase? Is that what they're called?
Mhm.
They are looking to acquire Quantic Dream, and it kind of confirms this narrative that the reason they put that incredible Star Wars Eclipse trailer out there was to attract potential buyers.
Well, NetEase, I read more detail on that. They've already been a minor investor. They've already owned part of the company, and it's just that they would take a majority stake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Do you think that that would change anything for Lucasfilm? And
I don't know that it would change for Lucasfilm, but it might change some of the problems that Quantic Dream has had. Right, Quantic Dream has been it has a lot of bad press. They've got this history of having a bad work environment. It's been some, getting a lot of negativity, rightfully or wrongfully. Look, I don't want to. I know there's some argument there. I'm not getting into that.
No. We could sidestep it though. So the problem is David Cage, not his real name. He thinks he's a Mortal Kombat person. It's weird, but he comes up with the stage name David Cage, and he's like the creative. He's the George Lucas behind that company, and also the problem behind the company for the most part. So, do they even want a Quantic Dream Star Wars game without the person that is Quantic Dream? This is kind of the part of it that to me doesn't make any sense, because if he's the creative force behind it and the person ostensibly making the magic happen, if that's to be believed, then what is the point? If is he leaving? Is he selling and leaving? But if he sells and stays, the problem doesn't actually get fixed. So I'm kind of, and I feel like Disney, Lucasfilm didn't make a statement, didn't do anything based off of the fact that they knew this was going to happen and they wanted to see where it shook out. Because like imagine if Microsoft had bought them. Just imagine something like that. They'd be like, sure, Microsoft could go ahead and make one of their companies could go ahead and make the Star Wars game. That's fine. But when it ends up with being like a Chinese cell phone mobile app developer who maybe wants to get into more AAA style content, maybe that's their angle here. But I just find the whole thing weird and confusing, and I think maybe they're all as confused as we are about this, about how to move forward or not. But the game is so far away. I wonder why they don't just say, you know what, let's cancel this for now, and we'll come back when you guys work your stuff out, and then maybe we'll do it or something like that. It's kind of weird that they're sticking to this one, I think.
Well, and that's what Matt is that he's saying. He thinks the purchase is the fact that we'll never get Eclipse. I don't know about never. I think,
yeah, I disagree with that.
At least, yeah, my take on it would be that the chances are better that Eclipse actually happens, because it was getting such negative press from certain corners of the internet that it was becoming more and more of a hot potato kind of issue. And so it's something that I think getting NetEase to take at least gives them the opportunity to alleviate that problem. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I don't know. So there's that. There's a couple other.
Sorry, I'm sorry. No, Chillmonger says Eclipse is far enough in development. It actually doesn't even have an engine right now. It is so far. It is not a game. Pretty much, it is actually basically nothing but a story idea at this point and some concept art. So if they were ever going to walk away, it's pretty much the time.
Yeah, they did a trailer.
They didn't even do the trailer. They hired an outside firm to make that trailer using assets that they had created.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So they fivered that shit.
They fivered it hard. And they also used elements from previous unused elements from games that ended up not coming to fruition because they couldn't make a new engine, like that weird animal horsey thing that we see, that cousin of a Fathier kind of thing. That was just from a different game that was actually in an older Quantic Dream game that ended up not being used or made. So yeah, it's a really great trailer, and the people who made that trailer, that's who they should bring them into Star Wars a little bit closer and develop stuff with them, I think.
This chat cracks me up. There's so many. You guys are having fun. I appreciate everything that's going on in the chat. This would crack me up. Have you ever had a dream where Rancor chased while riding a horse? No, but I was riding a blurg. No, just
That's no way to refer to your wife, Santa.
How many of you? Hey, how many of you? How many of you cats have had the dream? You go into the 99-cent store and it's full of like Return of the Jedi figures on the pegs, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And then you go and you don't have like your ATM card.
Oh,
You ever had that one?
I had
that
that
one a lot.
I had that growing up for something toy related. That sounded dodgy, as in like Star Wars toys.
$5 from Novak. Thank you for that. Get some golden gummies for Meg. Up to her if she wants to share.
Oh yeah, that was the first comment that I put in the chat.
So good.
Because I had some
So
sweets
funny.
earlier, or candies as you call them, and there was one golden gummy bear.
Oh, very special. So Carl Weathers confirmed Mandalorian season 3's finished filming. Your buddies over at Bespin Bulletin, or is it? Maybe it's just you. That's what I've heard. Rumor
My
has
sister
it.
from another mister.
No, no. The folks over at Bespin Bulletin published this. I went ahead and pulled this story up. That Carl Weathers has said that filming has finished. That's very good. Very exciting. In that, that gives me hope that we will get Mandalorian season 3 in late December, and it'll actually make the calendar for this year.
That'd be great. I hope so.
I hope so too.
Of course, this article, and this is actually just a retelling of it. I just pulled it up because Star Wars Newsnet is one of the sites I go to. Star Wars Newsnet, Bespin Bulletin, and last but certainly not least, the most important site you could ever go to is makingstarwars.net. And so I go to those sites and I get all my information. No, I get a great deal of it and from Meg. But Lando, so there was this Jimmy Kimmel. He was on Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy kind of, threw some bait out there, and he seemed to take it that, yeah, he's going to be in Lando, which I think is just exciting because we haven't heard anything about Lando in so long. And Meg brought this up as well. Like everything's been dormant. Like we haven't heard a thing about it for a long time. But now to hear that that it's maybe starting and that he's going to be involved in it. He mentioned about it starting if you listen to his reaction. So maybe we get that announced at Celebration as well. Super, super exciting. And it would be something that would confirm that he is going to be Lando versus Billy D. Williams, right? And go ahead, Meg.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited. I was saying on Jason's stream yesterday that Billy D. Williams can barely talk anymore. So,
yeah, and I like the theory that says maybe he will give some introductions, sort of like what is this? Oh shoot, the classic. I can't think of it. Where you get the storyteller, and then you see the story, right? So they're like reading from a book, and then and it's a really popular. Yeah. There's the Princess Bride. The Princess Bride. That's the one. Where he's reading the story to his grandson, and his grandson's asking questions, and they pop out of it from time to time.
Wait, with Oscar Isaac playing the Columbo part. I think he looks like Columbo sometimes. I think he's a great looking man, but I think when he's older, he's gonna look just like Columbo. And
but you
I
get
want
Billy
Oscar
D.
Isaac to play Columbo.
Billy D could be reading the storybook there at the side, and then we get the story, and it's actually Donald Glover. So I love that idea. that's how they would be doing it. And so I've not heard any confirmation of Billy D being associated with it at all. Have you guys heard anything on that?
He seemed to make comments around episode 9 that he was going to do something more with them, that there was more on the table for Billy D and Lando. So it was stuff like that, but it was never like, from memory, it wasn't like totally like we're doing a show. And then I think it was maybe sort of planted. By the way, that Jimmy Kimmel moment was not off the cuff whatsoever. That whole thing, all of those questions, they know everything that they're going to be asked. They know every bullet point. It's not that was set up by the studio. But I think
you hope so, Martin. Yeah,
I think so.
That's the show Martin wants to see.
Well, you know what people don't realize that we'll get from the Lando series is Lando actually had C-3PO shot in Empire Strikes Back and dismantled because of their torrid love affair earlier on. In between that you'll see in this series. Yeah. And it's a scorned lover, you know. You're gonna see it.
So you're saying that Lando put the C in C-3PO?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nikki, I'm with you. I hope we never see or hear Leet ever again. Right? Ever.
That was a terrible character.
Yeah, there you go. Mike Porter, if you write blurred, Santa will click on your comment. We've got our Mike Porter dad joke of the day. It is a Star Wars version today. And I didn't make it to the fan film, so I'm just going to highlight this. It's an older one, and I'll just show it to you all so you can go look it up. It's based off of this book. There's an old expanded universe, now Legends, storyline from Legacy of the Force. There's 9 books in the series. This is book 9 of 9, right? So you can go back and purchase these books, Kindle, audiobook, paperback, all the ways you can get those. And then this is a fan film that was made back in 2015 off of that book. So if you're familiar with the story, check out the video. This is from Fan Film is the name of the YouTube page, Fan Film, and you can catch that. It's just portion of Invincible, that book. So just showing that fan films come in many forms, right? Sometimes it's original stories, original story ideas, original characters. Sometimes it's based off of expanded universe stuff, or perhaps even novels or comics that are retelling. So just wanted to draw everybody's attention to that. There you go. Nice. There you have it. Martin still giving me a hard time. Martin, all I want to know is when you're going to have Patrick reveal the TVC blurs. That's all I need to know.
Martin, I seen Martin say this before. The leaks have nothing to do with like their faith in anything. It has nothing to do with anything at all. It has to do.
This is a running gag.
Oh,
this is
okay.
a running joke.
Okay.
It came from like more than a week ago.
Okay.
Somebody posted that comment, and then then Meg and I, we talked about it, and then they posted that comment again and again, and it said, "Would you please read my comment from before?" And I went back and looked at the comment from before, and it's the question that Meg and I already answered.
Same comment.
It's a bit like Dominic's question about basketball. After someone asked Santa a really long question about their basketball team.
Right. So it's a running gag off of, and Dominic keeps copying and pasting things that got me triggered or whatever in the past.
Santa, quick question. One time, I was kicked off my basketball team. Can you help me get back on?
Look, I got kicked off of a sports team because I'm a terrible athlete, so I can't help you with that.
I got kicked off the tennis team for shooting tennis balls at the cheerleaders. It was fun.
I got the most red cards of any player in my soccer team. when I was 16.
I think a red card is bad.
Well, red card means you get sent off the pitch, and it's usually for violent conduct or swearing or something like that. But I kept not insulting, but like I didn't, let's say, agree with the referee's decisions when I tackled some players on the opposite team. It's not my fault they were short and they couldn't. Anyway.
Yeah, get him, Meg. Get him.
That's a fantastic story, Meg. But because Kayla, who's Meg's age, Kayla played soccer growing up as well, and there was time she was on the field, and it was a mixed boys and girls, and this boy was close to 6 feet tall. Was a young boy, so a really tall, lanky kid, and Kayla went up and tackled him, and like this huge boy, and she was like 5'2" or something at the time. She was much shorter, and she took him out, and he cursed. He was not happy about this young girl or this little girl, taking him down. He went down hard. So don't say it, Meg. Don't say it.
Don't say it, Meg. It's just little girl, Meg. Don't do it, Meg.
I know she wants to.
Not this time, Meg. Not this time.
I know you want to. Just don't.
I have to hold it in.
Force push it in.
Again, I'm not.
Because once it comes out, it'll sprinkle all over the place.
Oh, I'm hot again. I got some fantastic news while you just a moment ago that Entertainment Weekly, the very last Entertainment Weekly that's going to be printed and published, it just arrived in my mailbox. So I am right after this going to go get that copy. Those are being sold now. They're you got to watch where you buy them because they're getting marked up. But it's a great collector item. Looking forward to having that. And everybody's quoted from that Entertainment Weekly, the stories in there. Meg even quoted from it again today. So I'm going to have an actual physical
contractors out of the bathroom. Santa's got a magazine.
So the Mike Porter dad joke of the day. How do you know it's cold on Tatooine?
The milk turns blue.
It's so cold the milk is blue. There you go.
I guessed it, but I saw it on Twitter a couple of hours ago.
Right. So you guys, you gotta follow Mike Porter on Twitter. He's the best. We truly love him. And so you two, thank you so much for joining me today, Meg. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll miss you tomorrow, but
thank you, Santa.
Hope you have a great day. And Jason, you're going to go live at the top of the hour, I presume.
I am top of the hour. That's the idea.
All right. Well, you guys go check out makingstarwars.net. Just a couple other bits of information here is that tomorrow I'll be doing a live stream with the folks from Echo Base Network. They're going to be coming in to talk more about the Star Wars here and some great guys. And then tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon, I'll be talking to Captain Pennsylvania over on our Patreon page. We'll be talking about King Conan. Like, I don't know diddly about King Conan and how well or what kind of imagery made its way from King Conan into the Book of Boba Fett. We had those stories that said it was that they were kind of inspired by King Conan, and my friend Captain Pennsylvania, he is the most expert Conan guy that I know. So he's going to be joining me tomorrow afternoon to talk about that. Working out a schedule with Nikki, so she can come on and berate me as well. No, just kidding.
Do it, Slick Nick.
She's the best. Look forward to getting to talk to her as well. So you guys, thank you all for being here. And I saw that Dominic Echo Base is going to smack Santa. Look, it's going to be a fun discussion. It's going to be fun. I look forward to it. All right. Anything else, Meg, Jason?
I think we're good.
I think
we said it all.
Well,
we did it.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate you all being here. You've made my day. Thank you again for your friendship. Thank you for your support, and it means a ton. You guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And until next time, my friends, Merry Christmas, and may the force be with you. Always.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas.
My Christmas dance.
Hot dang!
Talking through the news from a galaxy far away. Toys and book reviews, positivity all the way. Come and join the fun, subscribe and like away. Movie news and show reviews, it's like Christmas every day. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Ho, 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 ho. Hot dang, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat